Tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a cartoony eye like this. If you can see, it's like an oval instead of a sphere, and if you rotate with the control of the eye, you can see that it's preserving the shape, and even though it's moving around. And also it has two attributes in here for the lids. Let me show you, like this. So yeah, basically that's what I'm going to show you how to do, and it also has a master control to move the entire eye without double transformations. It's a very simple setup, so let me just pause this and start from scratch. Okay, so what I have here is just a simple for the geometry. I'm just keeping the controls with the attributes that I just did in here, add attribute and put some without any type of restriction, and the other is a simple control, and they are in hierarchy. For the geometry, I have one sphere as the eye and half spheres for the eyelids, like that. And they have a little bit of a scaling, but I'm going to freeze them, like freeze scale, so it's going to be 1 and delete by type history just in case. And okay, and delete by type history here as well. So what I'm going to do is create a lattice. So selecting the three geometries, go to modeling, it's okay, deform and lattice. When you create a lattice, it's going to have some specific subdivisions, but you can modify where do you want to have. Since I'm creating a very simple setup, I'm removing all the subdivisions and just keeping a simple box. And I'm just going to modify the vertex so they look as I want. Something like that. And like this. Okay? Yep. So by doing this, I already deformed the eye, but the thing is that if I rotate the eye, that by the way, both the eye and the up lids and the low lid has the same pivot, which is really important in here. And so if I rotate, it's going to work correctly, because if you put everything outside the lattice, it's still being a sphere, okay? Which is something that I have to tell you. Sometimes when you're modifying the lattice, or maybe you're moving the rig with the bigger hierarchy, you will have sometimes little spikes in the eye, and if you want to remove that, just select the lattice, go to attribute editor in the FFD, and no, sorry, where are you? See, yeah, in the FFD outside lattice, put all. So it doesn't matter where you put the lattice or how it deforms, it's going to preserve its shape. After that, I'm going to connect the eyelids to the control, which is very easy. So selecting general editors, connection editor, and putting the control as a parent, and then the eyelids, and the up eyelid is going to be connected to rotate X of the up lid, and the low eyelid to rotate X as well. The only problem here is if I move the low lid in positive, it's doing what I want, but if I move the up lid, it has to be in negative, which is kinda annoying because if I move both at the same time, it's not doing what I want. So instead of connecting the up eyelid to the rotate, I'm going to use a reverse node instead. Going to node editor, and I already have one in here, but I'm going to delete it and create it again. Hitting tab and right reverse. Connect the up eyelid to the input one. Let me remove this. and the output X to rotate X. Remove this unit conversion because it's trash, I think. Yeah, well, doesn't matter. So now, by doing that, if I select the control again and you see what is happening, is better. Okay, so I think this is a better behavior from what I have. The other thing I want to do, actually I'm going to keep the eye open, is I want the control to move the eye. So for that, I'm just going to select the control, then the eye, and create a aim constraint. I recommend to have maintain offset just in case the pupil is moving around or something, or you don't have it like with freeze or something else. And if you have a bigger hierarchy, which is probably what you're going to have at some point, that you have a head and there is a control of the head, you better use object rotation up and write in here the name of the control of the head, because if you don't do this and you keep it vector, which is what I'm going to have in here because it's very simple, when you rotate the head side to side, it's going to do like really funny weird stuff with the eyes. And if you keep it with object rotation up, it's going to fix all the problems that you have with rotation of the bigger hierarchy, which is the head. So yeah, in this case just keep it like this. Now wait, vector and add, and by doing that you already have a control that is moving the eye, which is great. For the main master control, I'm going to select the eye geometry, which has the three of them, and the lattice, create a new group which is going to be called left eye. Let's suppose there is a left eye group. And I also have a joint in here, which is in the same pivot of the rest of the geometry, by the way. And put the left eye group inside the joint. Okay, so now the joint is moving the everything. And just select the master control, which is optional. You don't need it, but it's just in case. And then the left eye control, and just create a parent constraint. Okay, so then you can connect the left eye joint to any hierarchy of the head or anything you want. And that's it. If you want to duplicate this, you can you can do some stuff. You can group this like that and go to edit, duplicate special, like everything the same, and duplicate input graph, duplicate the special, and just put -1 and move it here. The good thing about using the input graph is that everything is going to work exactly the same. If you check in here, wait, there is a problem with my tablet. Yeah, if you check, everything is working the same, but it's important for you. Give me just a second, please. Okay, I'm back. It's important for you that you change the names of everything. You put right eye master, right control, right eye joint, because it's not very good idea to have two stuff called the same way, especially when you're talking about rigging. Okay, but even though it's working the same, and something else that you can do that I don't recommend in this specific setup, but you can do in another one, is selecting the lattice. You can select only one of them, and you can duplicate the lattice and create blend shapes. For example, selecting the lattice and go to deform blend shapes like a normal one. Activate it. I think it's already activated. And for example, you can use this one. I think put it in 1, and you can modify it. And I mean, it's doing like, for example, angry or or if you do this it's going to be sad, or maybe like a Garfield. And that's what I was telling you, that you can add a lot of extra divisions in the lattice, but it's the first thing you have to think about it, because right now you cannot add extra divisions when you already deform the lattice. The thing that I don't recommend by in this setup is that the texture is already stretched, and if you add this type of stuff, it's going to be doing really weird behavior. So if you want to do something like this, you better use a different geometry for the pupil. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z to remove this. Okay, and to fix the texture of the eye, which is something that I almost forgot, you can select the eyes. I'm going to select both, go to UV editor, and I'm just doing a really random fix in here, selecting both geometries and just compensate the scale a little bit. Is a really disgusting way of fixing this, but it's going to work. So yeah, that's the way. So yeah, there it is. That's how you create very simple cartoony eyes with lattices. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel for the next video of cartoony eyes with non-deforming pupil.